be interested. So, Tony, let's get right to it. First of all, where did you grow up, and how did you wind up at Powell Memorial?
I grew up literally right across the street. The Amsterdam houses, right across the street from Powell. I mean, literally across the street from Powell. Right. I would roll out of bed, get dressed, and walk across the street, and I was already at school. So I didn't set out to go to Powell when I was in. I went to St. Paul's, which was around the corner from Powell, and the elementary school there. And I wanted to go to aviation high school. That's where I wanted to go because I was into planes as a kid. And but my parents were like, well, we got Powell Memorial right across the street. You don't have to get on the subway and travel to Queens. And so they convinced me to go to Powell, and it turned out to be pretty cool.
So you wind up at Powell. Obviously, tell us about your beginnings in track, even before Powell, if you were running, or how it all started at Powell Memorial Academy.
I was a baseball player. I played Little League Baseball. I played in the CYO League. For those that don't know, CYO, the Catholic Youth Organization. Yeah. I played baseball, and I went to Powell, and I wanted to play baseball. And I wasn't half bad. And but they had this thing. I don't know if many of the alumni can remember this. They would bring in all the incoming freshmen like a week before school started. And they'd send out a letter to all the parents, and you'd have to show up to school. And you show up to the gym in your gym clothes, T-shirt and shorts, sneakers. And then they had this thing. There was a gentleman by the name of Mulligan. He was the track coach at the time. Beelan wasn't even at Powell at the time. And they would have this thing. It was called the President's Physical Fitness Test. And it was 10 different exercises that you had to do. And depending on how you did on those exercises, that's how they would fit you into your PE classes. And so I remember going through all of this. And then they took us down to the track. They had a track at Riverside Park. And they took us down to the track, and they told us that we all had to run a half mile. And at that time, to me, a half mile was like a marathon. I was like, oh, my God, a half mile? How many times around the track is this? And and they were telling me, and I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I can't do this. And, but, they put you in little groups, and they said, go, boom. And so there was a guy, I remember the guy, but I don't remember his name. He wound up not finishing at Powell, but he was talking about how he was going to win the race. He was going to beat everybody. And I was standing there, and I was like, well, this guy's got a big mouth, and he's, how he's going to win and smoke everybody. And I said, well, I'm gonna try to keep up with this guy. Let's see how good he really is. Well, push comes to shove, I wound up winning the race, and I was exhausted at the end. And Coach Mulligan comes over, and he says, "What's your name, son?" And I tell him my name, and he says, "You plan on playing sports, right?" And I'm going, "Yes, sir. I want to be a baseball player." He says, "No, you're not. You're going to run track." And I went, no. I want to be a baseball player. And he says, no, you're going to run track. So, back then you didn't argue with anybody. They told you you were going to do something, you were going to do it. So I went home, and I was upset. And I told my mom what happened. And my mom says, well, you run the race. That's good. And I go, yeah, but they're telling me I have to run track. And I don't want to run track. I want to play baseball. She says, well, when your dad comes home from work, you talk to your dad. So, all day long I was just flying. I was so angry. My dad comes home, and Mom says, hey, he's in the room, and he's in a bad mood. And something about what happened at school today. My dad, school? What the heck? School? So we're going, what happened? So I tell my dad. He says, yeah. He says, I'm going to run track. I'm not going to play baseball. My dad says, don't worry about it. Don't stress. Don't worry about it. He goes, I'm going to go talk to that coach tomorrow. I said, okay. He says, I got it. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. So the next day, my dad gets up. He says, I'm going to call the school and make an appointment to talk to Coach Mulligan. Says, I'll have it all straightened out by the end of the day. Okay, great. So I went about my day. And my dad comes home from work, and I'm all excited. How did his meeting go with Coach Mulligan? I said, Dad, so how'd it go? I'm going to play baseball, right? And he goes, no, you're running track. He says, no, you're running track. I'm like, what? And he goes, you're running track. And that was the beginning. And